Okay, guys, so we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly, I'm going to be your friendly game master, friendly daimyo, I don't know, samurai master, Lin Shinsei master, I don't know. Still, that one's a work in progress. Haven't landed on a name for it yet, but today we are continuing on with our ongoing campaign playing Legend of the Five Rings 5th edition from Fantasy Flight. This is the most recent version of the game. Oh, did we lose James altogether? Oh, here we go.
I'm here.
Okay. And this is our campaign that we're calling, or at least the first adventure, Lament for Lovers and Liars. With me today are the stars of the Lament for Lovers and Liars campaign. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who are you playing today? First up, we've got Sean.
Hi, I'm playing Agasha Jinzaburo, who is a Shogunja of the Dragon Clan. He is on an investigation as or is getting an assignment as a brand new magistrate, and is kind of coming out into the world a bit from his clan lands.
Mm-hmm. And joining us new to the game is James.
So, hi, I'm Doji Gorobe. I'm a samurai of the Bushi of the Crane clan. I'm a very jolly, jovial, smiling samurai at that, but there's maybe more going on underneath there. And he's mostly curious as to whether Jinzaburo is a lover or a liar.
Nice. So we, this is James's first time playing Legend of the Five Rings of any kind. Which makes you the veteran here, Sean. One session with
that's scary.
Of playing this game. But you come in at a perfect time, James. We are just starting off the adventure, and this adventure is intended to get all of us sort of comfortable with the system again, familiar with the intricacies. I mentioned before I went live, I got my little matrix of your advantages and disadvantages and stuff like that to keep track of. Now, what I have not made use of is there is a really interesting system to like track when someone's giri, their duty, and ninjo, their passion kind of comes into play, or their desire comes into play. I'm not using that mechanic for this until we get a little further into the actual story, so we can start kind of adding in other elements. Let's get our footing before we dive into that aspect of the game. You guys may very well be joined by other stalwart magistrates as well. Who knows where the game will go. What are we talking about? It's one of my games. You're going to end up in a shipwreck, and there's likely going to be monsters. So
there's going to be an owlbear somewhere.
There's going to be an owlbear. Exactly. Let's start maybe with a quick summary of what happened last time. Let me grab all of your tokens here so we can track you across, and I'll use some visual aids here to try and get you. So this is, let me just give first James a quick overview of the world here. I have also added, as promised, one of the few times I actually said I was going to do something between sessions and actually did it. I added all these sidebars that we've got in here, like the critical hits, the opportunity tables, skill rolls, stances. All that stuff is listed in the handouts now. So you have separate handouts for all the stuff that you can find in here, the opportunity spends and whatnot. This is the Emerald Empire. This is Rokugan. I mentioned before that when we were making your character, James, that you are from the Crane clan and that your lands border on several other rival or allied clans. Let me just make sure our stream's going here. There we go. Very nice. Okay. Hello, everybody. The Crane clan is closest to the capital. So these are Crane lands in here and down here. Otosanuchi is the capital of the empire, where the Emperor Hantei rules from within the Forbidden City, the third ring in the center of the imperial capital. Nearby and bordering on the Crane lands include the Lion lands. That is that martial, warlike clan. To the north of Phoenix lands, where the skilled Shugenja and mystics and whatnot live. The Scorpion Lands down here, including, where is it? The City of Lies, Ryoko Owari. Some call Mos Eisley, the most notorious hive of scum and villainy. I would suggest that Jedi Master has never been to Ryoko Owari, the City of Lies. And then near there as well are the Crab Lands, which border on the Shadow Lands. All along here is the Carpenter Wall, the Caillou Wall, that keeps the horrific monsters of the Shadowlands at bay. Across the Spine of the World Mountains, which apparently every fantasy setting has to have one, is the mysterious Shinneman Forest. In years to come, the Emerald Empire will learn that is the resting place of the long-forgotten Naga. Their civilization awaits. It is also said to be full of spirits and ghosts, a variety of kinds. I mentioned the Unicorn as being that clan that left. They originally were the Kirin clan. They left to go north of the Great Wall Mountains, traveled the Gaijin lands, and then came riding back and reclaimed their position. They had, unsurprisingly, the enmity of the Lion for quite some time because of that, because they re-seized their lands. And then there are the mysterious Dragon. The Dragon clan lives up in these mountains. They are mystics. They are infuriatingly secretive, and they have a number of very unconventional approaches to life, one of which is their daisho technique favored by the Mirumoto school, where they use both the wakizashi and katana, not only for in kenjutsu fighting, but also in ijutsu duels even. But they also have this mysterious order of monks, unlike any other order elsewhere in the Empire, where these monks have elaborate tattoos like gangsters, like Yakuza, elsewhere in the Empire. But these things infuse them with magical powers that are unlike any seen elsewhere in the world. They are the Isezumi. You prefer enigmatic, exactly. And I mentioned that there were also lesser clans too. One of the most notable, and one of my favorites, is the Mantis clan. These are the islands of silk and spice, where the Mantis clan is located. There are a number of other things, like there's a centipede clan, in time there will be a monkey clan, there's a boar clan, the Ashiro, there is a wasp clan, there's a ton of these minor things, a clan of the hare, clan of the falcon, but none of them compare to the major clans that are the 7, I believe, that make up the most important parts of Rokugan. But our session and our story takes place in Otosan Uchi. This is a good sense of what Otosan Uchi looks like, seen from its second district. Now, I forgot to open this up again. Give me a sec here.
There's a couple of good city maps in the handouts too, James. Of,
right.
Showing the rings of the city, which are pretty cool.
There's one map of Otosan Uchi.
Minus the siege armies on the one.
Yeah. And that is, let's see here. Here we go. Is this it? Yeah, here's a good aerial perspective, although this image is taken from the second day of Thunder, near the end of the Time of the Void arc. What you can tell about... Where is it here? Here we go. Otosan Uchi itself is divided into, broadly speaking, 3 rings, 3 major sections. The Toshisoto, which is the outer districts, the Ekohikai, which is the inner districts, which includes Seppun Hill, where the kami are said to have descended from heaven and met the peoples of Rokugan, and then the Forbidden City itself. The Forbidden City is the unique castle complex that includes the Imperial Castle. And I think I have a handout of that as well, too. Yes, I do. Check this out.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. That's a pretty one.
Yeah. Where each of the, or within the wider districts as well, or I'm sorry, within the wider sections, there are also districts. The this one right here does a pretty good job of showing the different districts out in the Echo Hikai, which includes the Chisai district, where the Crane, Dragon, and Minor clans have authority, which is largely devoted towards law and inter-clan relations. I think it is in there, since you were an unmarried samurai and serving as a magistrate, that is where we would be finding you at the beginning of this. You
at the
likely
Chisei?
In the Chisei, yeah, where the Dragon Embassy would be as well. So Gorobe, that is where we would find you as our scene opens. Now, what do you think that, you know, a typical morning for Gorobe would have been like? If he assume he does not have any specific assigned task to investigate in his responsibilities as an Emerald Magistrate. Is there any specific thing that he pursues or enjoys or whatever? Oh, before we get going too, Sean, did I give you XP at the end of the last session?
That's a fair question. Let's see here. Where's it on the character sheet? That would.
Yeah, I'm sure it's on the character sheet somewhere. The character sheets for this are
I would think
quite
there's a lot
good.
in there, yeah. They're good. They're good.
Let's see here. Maybe advancement under the advancement tab. There you go.
Advancement. Look at you, looking at the tabs, actually reading them. Good job. Advancement's a good place to look.
Okay, so yes,
I got 3.
You got 3 XP. Okay, so one thing while we are, let me just check out advancement so we can be mindful of that. Advancement is on page 97 of the book. Awarding XP. You should award about 1 XP per hour of play. That makes sense for why we got 3 then. And the cost is... Okay, so the cost is you can raise anything you like, but you are only credited with full XP for your school for things that are within the curriculum of your school. So whatever's listed for Tier 1 for your school, for the Agasha school, you get full credit for the XP that is spent on things within that school, and you get, I think it counts as half XP. Advancing in a school, let's see here. Yeah, to go from rank 1 to rank 2, you need to have spent 20 XP, and you only get half of that for... half credit for things that are spent outside of what's listed on your school. So, like, for instance, the Agasha school, right here. Here we go, Agasha Mystic School. So, if you spent it on, what I can see, I'm looking on page 66, scholar skills, fitness, meditation, smithing, any rank 1 earth invocations, Heart of the Water Dragon, invocation, or any divination technique. If you're spending on any of those things, you get full credit for the XP you spend. If, say, you decided to raise your melee weapons skill, you would get half. You count half of the XP you spent on that when determining when you can go up to the next rank. And certain of the reason going up in rank is worthwhile is because certain of your things are linked to your rank. Like, for instance, your elemental transmutation ability, where when performing an invocation, you can choose a different ring when you're doing the check from whatever the thing is. So you can make a fire invocation into water. You can do that a number of times per game session equal to your school rank.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think, Gorobe, yours also is likewise... Yeah, you may... This is the intercept thing. You may suffer physical damage... Suffer fatigue up to your school rank to reduce the damage the target takes by twice that amount. So there's the incentive for going up. There are other things, I think, for less so for kata. Or no, actually, no, that's not true. So a lot of the any of the techniques, so the kata, the keiho, the invocations, the shuji, all the techniques that you can gain access to, those likewise have ranks. So you... what do you call it? Going up in rank allows you to access kind of like higher level abilities as well.
So if I've got the kata, so I'm rank 1 because I am rank 1
Yep.
in my kata. But do I also have skills in it?
In your kata isn't something where you have skills in.
You either have it or you don't.
You either have it or don't. Yeah, it's kind of like feats in 5th edition, sort of. What a kata does is if you have it, it allows you to do something cool that other characters who do not have that allow you to do. Like you got your strike of water. Whenever you make an attack with your sword. Or with any of your weapons, you can also, in addition to whatever else you can spend the opportunity on, you can spend opportunity to increase or to decrease the armor of the target, the resistance, physical resistance. And then I think you've got that iron, what was it? I can't remember what your iron, whatever it was called, thing can do.
Yeah, where's that? Iron Forest.
Iron Forest, yeah. I also, in my list, too, I forgot the ninjutsu techniques, but that's because they were so sneaky. It's not because I forgot it. I was intentionally being thematic. The Iron Forest style. Oh, yeah, that's the one where you can keep people at range. You can hedge people out with your pole arm.
Yep. So they can't get in close.
Yeah. So again, like what that does, those are 2 techniques that you can choose specifically to do. If you don't have those kata, you can't do them.
Right.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a neat mechanic because it gives lots of cool little special abilities that more than just spellcasters can gain access to. Kata were introduced in 1st edition of the game. A little later on, they become kind of codified in the 2nd edition of the game. But otherwise, like the only special abilities that Bushi really got were through their school, and that was it. So it's just neat that they've expanded in this game to include a whole bunch of other things. By 4th edition of the original sort of series of games, they had done the same thing as well. They'd introduced similar kind of options, but anyway. All right, so then, I don't know whether you can afford anything as of yet. You could, maybe a skill.
Yeah. I decided to let it
or a ticking, let it sit for a while. You got it.
Yeah, and I need to do a whole, that first deep dive of what am I doing for advancement.
Yeah, it's good to push that off until it's absolutely necessary.
A little bit at least, a little bit.
All right. So then, RC, what we were gonna say, Gorabai, is where do we? Where would Gorabai be? Where would we find him? What would he be doing with his day, absent any other?
Gorabai will be strolling down, the market streets, wondering where he's going to hold lunch. Is it going to be in one of the places where other people of his station will be, or is he going to feel like going somewhere? So the more down market.
Yeah, the Toshisoto, the most, the outermost ring of Otosanuchi is the more earthy area. This is gives you a sense of what to expect from there. Let me get I'll get both your tokens because I imagine some of our adventuring here will be taking place in Toshisoto. What I think you're maybe kind of idling your day away, meeting up with you don't have necessarily a specific contact or whatnot in here that you're dealing with, but one of the people you learn to work with is the Yuriki. The Yuriki are the kind of the not peasant, but like non-samurai. They're the Hymen, the middle class kind of people. They are the ones who investigate the locals. I think that you are on fairly good terms with the several of the Yuriki in the Toshisoto district. And I've got a mental picture of Gorobe kind of like standing in one of the market areas where there's a bunch of restaurants and stuff, kind of like drumming his thumbs or his fingers on his tummy, thinking of like, where are we going today? That may be more Winnie the Pooh than what you intend for your character, but
no,
it is precisely where my mind goes.
Gorobe likes good food and good drink, and it's a serious choice.
Sure. So this will our first scene will take place a little later in the afternoon, when you see that one of the runners for the Emerald Magistrate. I don't think we've given. Oh, your superior is actually a gentleman named Miramoto Denjuro.
Miramoto Denjuro.
And he is likewise. Do I have a handout for Denjuro yet? Let's see here.
I don't recall one.
Yeah, I don't think you've actually met him. You've heard his name, but you have not met him yet. Give me a sec. I do have an image for him loaded. I just have not created the thing. One of my resolutions this year is to make sure I name all of my images I load, so I can find them later on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like trying to find a picture, and what it's been named as is like a series of random alphanumeric characters.
Organizing images is tough in general. You know, like
yeah.
There we go.
So this is what Denjuro looks like. He's a fairly young and fairly serious member of the Miramoto family from the Dragon Clan. Though he looks quite young, or relatively young, in the illustration, Denjuro is, probably in his. Let's move him down into the handout section here. There we go. So Denjuro is probably in his late 30s. He has made quite an relatively impressive career for himself. To the point where he is sort of he's one of the upper management, I guess, or the upper members of the Imperial Magistrate apparatus. You recognize the person running up to you as, let's see. This is Corin. Corin is Korin. And he's not like the assistant, as it were, to Denjuro, but he's sort of regularly the one that runs to get messages to, tracks down and gets messages to magistrates. You're finishing up a really lovely soup and a noodle soup kind of deal. As he comes racing up towards you, you're just finishing the last of your meal. And he bows low and says, seems panting a bit. You've recognized this face, or the expression on Corin's face right now. It seems that he has been looking for you for a while, and the fact that he's out of breath suggests that it has been an urgent thing. Who are we yelling at right now? There's kids running outside. Damn kids.
Are they on the lawn? Are they on the lawn, though?
They are. I think their dog got off the leash, so they are chasing their dog. So that, fair enough, Anna. Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
If there is any time to bark, that would be it.
Yeah.
But let's get some dice rolling just to get some things going here. So, there are a number of different reasons why Corin could be coming up to reach you, running the gamut from urgent tasks to anger at something you've done before. So, in the interest of Judd trying to figure out what he's here for, I think I'm going to ask for let's see here. I think this will be a water. Let me rephrase that. You can't choose to do whatever approach you want. I think this will be a sentiment roll. And I'm looking at, so the way we figure out at any dice rolls is we figure out what, you pick up an approach, and I believe I can say no to it if it's not appropriate, but some approaches might be more challenging than others. Here's the benefits of the approach. So one thing you get is, you see the stances that are here?
Yeah.
These tell you whatever approach you're taking, that is the stance you are in. So if you take a water stance during your turn, well, this is actually, I think these are all, Yeah, these are actually all for combat. Never mind, ignore me. Ignore me. Well, you can
opportunities. You might be going for
the opportunity spends. Yeah. So there's opportunity 1, opportunity 2. These can tell you what you can spend your opportunities on afterwards. And there's certain things you just simply cannot do. In terms of your approach, what you can try, we know it's going to be a sentiment check. You could be trying to survey, try and get clues for his expression from, past experience with him. You could try and recall using Earth approach. Like, you've got a catalog of what he looks like when Dejuro's angry with you. When he's got bringing good news, that he runs up smiling. You could theorize using fire, analyze using air, looking for specific details. So what are you thinking, Gorobe?
I think
what approach do you think? I think water would. I know that's your strongest one, so I'd certainly agree with that.
Because I need to. If I just have a look at the stats,
sure.
Oh, come on. Get into the swing of what these mean.
Yeah. So then what we would do if we're making that roll, it's under social skills. You have, it looks like, it's under scholar skills. You have 1 point in sentiment. What you would do is change the approach to being whatever approach you're taking.
Mm-hmm.
So you could change that to water.
I will. Not that it makes sense since I'm better at water, but I think he's going to be. I'm looking at the stances, and that's saying, a stance that favours grace and being nimble. So I'm not sure what he's after. So I'm just going to be a little bit cagey, as it were.
Okay.
Rather than direct.
So you're using air then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I will have 1 in sentiment.
Yep. So you don't the plus ring plus skill, leave those as 0. That's only if there's situational modifiers.
Gotcha.
Then you just click on the roll button. Let's see what your results are. Okay. Now, because you got a 2 ring and a 1 skill, you can keep 2 of those. This, I think, is going to be a standard difficulty, so the difficulty will only be a 1. Is that right? Yeah, let's do that. So what that means is you only need to keep 1 thing, but your results here are you've got 1 dice that is an opportunity and stress. Second dice is stress, but with an exploding dice. Actually, the other 2 ones are the exact same thing. You can keep up to 2 dice. You don't need to keep all of them, but whatever ones you keep, we do automatically roll. So if you want to get a success out of this, we would have to get you to roll another dice after you accept it. What do you think? You could keep both successes and try and fish for some opportunities to maybe spend some opportunities to get some other results. What are you thinking?
So if I read that, there's 2 exploding and there's 1 opportunity. Is that right?
That's correct. And all of them come with stress, with the stress.
So would I just want to keep 1 opportunity and 1 stress? One success?
Yep.
Oh, the 1 is exploding, yep.
So then what would happen is if you're taking those 2, then if you go to the top of your page, there is a, you see where there's a roller on the right-hand side there? Underneath the Legend of the Five Rings role-playing game logo.
Oh, yes, a roller, yep.
What you're going to do is you're going to add, change it so it has 1 ring dice, the black dice, and then click re-roll, because that one, one of the ones you selected exploded. Perfect. So you've got 2 successes, 2 strife, and 1 opportunity. So once you add, clearly you're a little... a little perturbed. You just had a wonderful lunch. Now it looks like someone's coming over to cause problems. So go ahead and add 2 strife to your strife bar, your blue bar.
All right.
And then you have 1 opportunity to spend as well. Now, the opportunities can be, there are some general expenditures that are on number 1 here, and then there are some specific ones that can be found. So, for example, you could, let's see here, spend, now you took an air approach. So here's let's see what are general and what are specific. So in general, you can, if you failed, determine the easiest way towards your next task. You could spend 1 opportunity to remove 1 strife gained from this check. And because you are in the air stance, you also could spend 1 opportunity to learn another character in the scene's demeanor and their current strife. You could act subtly to attract minimal attention for your efforts. And then is there anything that's in conflict? And then other skill examples, I'm looking on number 2 here. An air spend for scholar is, for opportunity, is learn something about a character who created or used the item you're studying. That's not super applicable here. I think that's all of them. So what are you thinking here? How do you want to spend that opportunity?
I guess I'll just...
You could just reduce your strife and then take only 1.
Yeah, I'll just reduce the stress. I decide that it's not such a big deal after all, even though it is disturbing my thoughts of lunch.
Add 1 to your strife then, because you still have 1 unaccounted for 1. So your blue bar, you're going to add 1 to. Now, what you can tell, you did get a success, though. He has the exasperated look on his face that he has been searching for you. He just could not find you. It may very well be that he has guessed poorly and has been running his way around the Toshisoto trying to find you, going to all your favorite hangouts, your favorite, the... what do you call it? The Rokugani equivalent of the dive bar that you tend to favor. It's you going to each of these, things, and he kind of runs over towards you, and he's huffing, Korebe-san, I have word from Denjuro-san.
Tell me, what is this? What is the word?
We have word. Your new partner has arrived. The dragon. And you have known that this has been expected. You know that he would be, that Jinzaburo, or this new Dragon Clan Dragon Clan Samurai, who have yet to meet, was going to be arriving. You didn't know it was going to be today, but apparently it's important for Denjiro to keep his finger on the pulse of when his when his clanmate arrives. Now, what Kira takes out, he hands a scroll over to you. It's not like an elaborate thing. It's just a very simple scroll tube with some, a note or instructions from Denjiro on it. And he says, "Here you are."
And Gorobe looks at the restaurants, sighs, and says, "Typical of a dragon. Always mind on ephemeral things and not on the important things in life."
The the proprietor of the restaurant walks over, and she says, "Will that be all, Samurai-san? Or more? A third helping, perhaps?"
Sadly, I have to skip it today. Maybe tomorrow.
So she bows and takes away your stuff as you unscroll or unspool the note. What you can see is that Denjiro has apparently... it's a very simple and to-the-point note, which is typical for Denjiro. The dragon are not known for being overly loquacious. And he says that the new arrival, whose name apparently is Agasha Jinzaburo, He has arrived at the an inn in the Jinzaburo district called, or in the Jinzaburo, not Jinzaburo, in the Toshi Soto section, staying in a place called the Blue Lantern. Now, let's do a couple of things here. First, let's see how much you know about the various families in the Dragon Clan. One of the things, if it was a clan that you were more regularly in touch with, there would be no question that you would have, you would know about the crab or the lion or whatnot. That's just sort of part of your thing. Oh, I want to mention one thing too, which I forgot. You have the advantage subtle observer. So if you so chose, what you could have done is said, you know what, I don't really want all that strife. I could re-roll 1 ring dice and 1 skill dice.
Ah, yes.
Okay, so this is what happens when I cover up my matrix. What you can do is, let's see here. I think this would probably be. It's probably going to be a culture roll. And the approaches, Earth is to recall from memory or sense using void to just get a, try and remember, jog your memory. Once again, difficulty is only going to be a 1 here. I don't see theorize, survey, or analyze as really being. There's not information before you that you could have accessed.
No, sorry. So which one I should be?
This will be culture.
Culture,
And,
yep.
I think that either recall from Earth or sense with your instincts or hunch for using void. Given the scene, I think those are the only 2 kind of viable approaches.
Okay, I'll go with Earth.
Okay. Very nice. Okay, so I forgot you got 2 in that too. So you can keep 2 of those. What do you think? You only need 1 success to get this.
I'll just get the one. I'll just take the 1 success.
Take the 1 success and drop the rest. Okay. So you remember that the Agasha are typically the not only. Oh, here's the thing: is you could also. There is a spend for opportunities for additional information. I think I'll let you spend, if you take extra successes, you can ask me questions about the Agasha. You will get stress from them, but you might gain some additional information. Here's the baseline information you know is the Agasha are the family. Every one of the clans, the major clans, has at least 1 family that seems more inclined towards the spiritual and the magical. They seem to be the family that the Shugenja are often derived from, and the Agasha are that family in the Dragon Clan. If you want to keep extra stuff, you can ask me questions. You can keep up to 2 of those.
So.
And one thing I'll mention as well, one of the neat things about the game. Sorry, Sean, I'll get this, and I won't forget that you want to say something. The way that the game really kind of turns certain things around from the way that previous versions of the game did. Previously, there was like penalties associated with going against the grain of the Bushido code or whatever else. You would like lose honor or other stuff would happen. In this one, they've gone to great lengths to always give incentives to do that. Getting your disadvantages to trigger is great because you get void points back. Getting your strife, if it maxes out and you can unmask, it's good because you've got a mechanical reason for why your character is going to act completely, inappropriately or out of character. So there is license that comes from doing that, in addition to sort of the whatever consequences might come from unmasking. So I only mention that just because if you're worried about getting too much strife, that's not necessarily, that is a function of the game, is that, sometimes you'll be sort of riding that ragged edge, but you always, whenever you make a dice roll and roll opportunities, any dice roll can be used to buy down strife.
Okay. Because he doesn't want to lose that jolly demeanor, that veneer.
Yeah.
So I'll just add one then, just to find out if there'd been any, if I recalled any interactions of the Agasha with the Crane clan. Anything specific that I could think of?
No, and that's the interesting thing about it, actually, is that I don't think you've ever remembered. This may be the first Agasha who has become a magistrate that you're aware of, at least. The Agasha don't appear in court very often. It's normally the Miramoto who are of the families that make up the Dragon Clan. The Miramoto, the Agasha, and the Kitsuki. The Kitsuki and the Miramoto are closest to sort of. They're still a little odd because these mountain mystics led by some whatever.
I don't know about that word odd.
The Agasha are much more. They seem to be more interested in throwing themselves into the study, like the whole monastic idea. The one family I'm not talking about is the Togashi. Togashi is the name of the kami that founded the Dragon Clan, but there is no actual Togashi family. Those who bear the Togashi name are members of that Isazume, the tattooed monk order that I mentioned. So if you meet anyone with the surname Togashi, they're not actually part of a family per se. So the dragon are just kind of unusual in that sense. To have an Agasha become a magistrate is unusual. It's sort of like imagine a research scientist who decides they want to be a forensic investigator.
So Gorobe will sort of sigh to himself, think, well, if mountain ascetic, not my thing, but someone unusual anyway. Something of interest to break an average day.
Okay. Corrine, he is a lower class from you too, so he takes your playfulness in strife and nods. Very good. Can I tell Master, can I tell Denjuro-san that you will be meeting Jinzaburo-sama, or Jinzaburo-san, at the Blue Lantern?
Yes, you may. Thank you very much. I will head off.
Bows low, and he says, Denjuro-san wishes to see him tomorrow at dawn. He has sent message. Denjuro-san asks that you convey or repeat the message to him, lest he get... he sort of gestures around at the hub of the Toshisoto. He get lost. And I think while Gorobe has not been born into, you weren't born in Otosanuchi, I don't think. The Otosanuchi, in particular the Toshisoto, is unlike anywhere else in the Empire. Ryoko Owari, the City of Lies, that place has got its own kind of overwhelming, urban buildup, but it's still nothing compared to what Otosanuchi has. So you may have been not the small town samurai, but if you're thinking like, this guy came from living on a mountain and now finds himself in this, you would not be thinking like the country bumpkin coming to the big city would not necessarily be an unfair assumption. It's nothing but slander for Sean. Sean, I interrupted you before too when you were going to say something. What was it you wanted to say?
Oh, it wasn't really that valuable. I mean, we were right there at the point where, James was choosing dice, so I was just going to prattle a bit. There wasn't really anything.
Prattle away.
Are you still? Well, we passed that point, right? Did you already made your decision on dice, James? So it's all good. You were choosing which ones to keep.
I was unusually decisive for myself.
No, there's a lot in this game, James, so don't even give that a second thought. Like, it takes some serious acclimating to get your arms around the whole structure of the thing. And
this one I'm finding tougher than Star Wars. I need to get it's less intuitive. So
I agree. And look at the character sheet. There's a lot on there, but you just have to settle in, and eventually you're like, okay, a little this, little
exactly.
that.
It will become more intuitive as you. I've only run this a handful of times, and the last time I ran it before we decided to try it again, I found it I was not paying close enough attention to some of those, like your distinctions and your adversities and whatnot, like all your advantages, disadvantages, the things that help make the link between the fiction and the game mechanics. So that this is it is a
and spending void points. Like last time, I didn't even get a second. I mean, of course, and this is my second session, so so me too. Like I'm not even just don't be fussed about anything. But spending void points is big because there's a lot of things you get void points back. So last session, it was kind of worthless for me to get void points back because I wasn't even thinking of spending them. So so that's a factor.
Yeah, they definitely should be. So just while we're on that topic, void points can be spent to seize the moment. When making a check, you can spend a void point to roll and keep one additional ring dice. It's one of the black ones. You can do a shattering parry, which basically saves your life when you would get whacked by a 3-foot-long razor blade. Mm-hmm. And then there may be techniques that require you to spend void points as well too, but then you gain them when your adversity, if you fail a check on which one adversity was resolved, you gain one back. Once per scene after an anxiety causes strife to increase, you gain a point. After choosing to be affected by a complication that the GM introduced in the scene, I know it's so unlike me making things more difficult for you guys, but if I'm just going to double check that one. Ooh. And then if the GM conceals the target number from you, you get a void point back.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's neat. Well, a lot of these games, like, it comes down to the level of transparency you need in order to make informed judgments. Like, I remember the back and forth. There's, if, I'm not sure if either of you guys have read 13th Age, but there's that interesting, like, back and forth between the two authors in the columns in it, in the sidebars. So, they'll be like, this is how it works in the game, but this isn't how I would want to have it. But, I lost that argument. And here's why I think I'm right, So, like, there's lots of great insight into it. One of the things they talk about that I believe this is one they were both in agreement on, is the lack of transparency in 4th edition. 4th edition D&D, one of the really important things was the minion mechanic, but rules as written, players playing the game did not, unless the DM went out of their way or they had experience or whatnot, you couldn't automatically tell the difference between a minion and anything else that required more than 1 hit point of damage to make it go down. What they said is that's a design error on their part. You should always, to make effective use of your abilities, particularly ones that don't do a lot of damage but hit a lot of things, you need to be able to tell what are minions and what aren't. Because it's a shitty guessing game you're using on whether you're wasting your abilities or not. So it's just the idea of what is rules transparency and when you make use of it is quite interesting. Mm-hmm. All right. Complication. Where are you here? Seize the moment. Shattering parry. Oh, I'm getting stuck down a rabbit hole of in-text references, guys. I went to 36, then go to 39. Am I going to go elsewhere here?
Go, Kev. Go.
There we go. Further down the rabbit hole. Complication is a slight narrative turn or brief moment that stems from one or more of the player's ninjo or giri. We can introduce a complication. Things include like realizing that a masked enemy is in fact your long-lost sibling, encountering the haunting scent of a perfume often worn by a character's deceased friend. No matter whatever complication it induces, you can only have 1 complication per game session. So it's kind of a cool way to encourage you to introduce, for one thing, to give me an excuse to just do in-scene bullshit that may not have a specific consequence to give you your void points back, and to reinforce stuff. It's sort of like, Gorobe, you might see this, I'm not going to have this happen, but like you might see someone walk by, in a Phoenix clan colors with a Yari over their shoulder, and at a glance in the light, you might think it has the crane mon on it, and you might think like, wait, hold on, and then you see the light hit it properly, and it's actually it's a Phoenix. It's not a crane that's depicted on there. It's just an unusual configuration. That plays back to your ancestor thing, right? The missing Yari that we've got. I may give you a strife for that, but you'll get a void point for it.
Okay, cool.
So like that's just a way I'm thinking of the void points, because the dice pools don't get very big in this. Having that extra dice in there to increase the chance of getting the results that you want to pick, I think is better. You're rarely stuck with. I don't think you're ever actually stuck with a result for things. All that is to say, there's lots of ways to get void points back. Please do not be shy about making use of them.
Okay.
Genzaburo is unfortunately very much a man of the world, not a man of the the mystic realms. So I believe he's capped out at a void of 1, isn't he?
Gorobe, you mean Gorobe?
Or Gorobe, sorry, yeah.
Oh, Gorobe is very much yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Gorobe, you have these instructions now. I think you probably, given your familiarity with the different sort of sub-districts as they were, the informal districts in the Toshisoto, you certainly know how to get there. And it's not easy going around. While the kind of bird's eye view perspective of Otosanuchi gives the impression of this orderly and kind of confined city, the reality on the ground is very much not the case. It is constantly changing. There's constantly, roads sprung up. This was a village that sort of grew up around the thing, and not with an awful lot of urban planning. So it does require, there's lots of twisting alleys and whatnot, in particular in the Toshisoto. But fortunately, I think you're familiar with where you need to go. What would you like to do, Gorobe?
Well, so I pick myself, I get up, I pick up, being the unusual man that I am, I'm carrying my naginata, my ornate one, albeit with the blade covered, so with a silk cloth over it. In
this district too, there would be, particularly where you're going to be going, you know where the Blue Lantern is, there are lots of Ronin there. There are some other like traveling samurai and whatnot who go in there, but more well-off Ronin can be found in there, so it would not be unusual to see people trucking around with all their worldly belongings. Wave men rarely have places to lay their heads for long, so it's not unusual to see someone trucking along with this big polearm.
Yep. So just out of interest, so the missing weapon is also a naginata, which, as we know, is unusual. It's unusual because the what's the right name? The Daidoji are famous for their yari, and that's what's unusual, and that's why Gorobe carries the naginata as a tribute to his ancestor on this.
Very nice. Oh, that's super cool. So his namesake. And is his namesake Doji Gorobe, or is his namesake from a different branch of the Crane families?
He would, I guess, the same.
Yeah, there is it's
a photocopy. As we've discussed, his way of dying may follow that of his ancestor.
So I don't know if either of you guys have played in one of my War Story sessions, but interesting, well, maybe not interesting, but there's a little bit of trivia. That whole thing started about 30 years ago with a card in the card game called Lessons from the Past. Lessons of the Past was this idea in the card game that like you drew on your ancestors and you got a certain bonus or whatnot. Before I started calling them war stories, I used to call these sessions Lessons from the Past, and the first one I ever ran was of one character's ancestor in actually Chad's ancestor for his character Miramoto Hiro in that. So I have 5 rings is to thank for that specific narrative trope that I routinely spring on other players now. Yeah. Anyway,
one of the things I liked on the that other game, Bushido, was the fact that if your character dies and everything, the level of honor that he has it on actually gives you a bonus for your next character.
Nice.
So dying isn't so bad necessarily if you go out in a blaze of glory.
Oh, very cool. That's clever. All right, so Gorobe, we see you set off in search of the Blue Lantern, and the crowd is, it's typical for a late afternoon in the Toshisoto. You make your way, there's a couple of false, alleyways you go down, and you're like, oh, no, of course, this is not the right way. Turn around and easily make your way back. By the time you reach there, it's a little later in the day. People are starting to, show up for either very early dinners or on their way, to finish up whatever business or other things they need to get done today. The lantern itself is it's not opulent, and it's like many of the buildings you can see in the illustration here, where it's one of many very similar looking buildings. This is a building that was built before that they have repurposed the interior at some point for it. And as you step in, there is a man behind the, I think someone hears you creak, the floorboards creak as you step in to the little lobby. And a man comes out and bows low to you and says, "Good afternoon, Crane-sama. Alas, I have no rooms here, but I can direct you towards another establishment where you may be able to find lodgings."
That is fine, innkeeper. Instead, I'm coming to visit one of your guests.
One of my guests?
Indeed. Maybe you have someone from the Dragon Clan here.
We did have someone arrive today. A man wearing a large jingasa?
Could well be.
Do you know his name?
Probably looks very spiritual. It's Agasha. Agasha-san.
Yes, we did. He is staying here, but he has gone elsewhere. He was of great assistance with a unhappy guest, and he has gone to meet with them until his other duties call. I think I said, weren't you having an evening meeting with Denjiro? I think you were going to meet with a crab guy for a little bit, and then you were going to go meet Denjiro tonight. Yeah, so I fucked up. So that's what it was being requested. We'll just assume that the note actually said, Gorabai, that you're going to go meet him and then escort him back so he doesn't get lost in the streets of Otosanuchi.
Okay.
So instead of being next morning, it's sort of like, go collect him and we'll bring him back so he can meet with us. He says, now, Sean, do you remember the name of the tavern that you are staying at, or that he has gone to?
The Tilted Crane.
Yes. I didn't have it in my notes, but I felt
never tilted.
Confident that you had it.
That's a filthy scorpion lie.
So you hear that name, right off the bat something is.
So what he tells you that he has gone to the Tilted Crane, and you're familiar with this place. You definitely are.
How is the wine?
It is a much rougher place. Definitely, it is a much more earthy. Things just seem to be busy right now. Like if you were to judge how. This is a sort of, I think it's early summer. So this is sort of like just before this is before everyone makes war, basically. Winter time is the time for winter courts at various places. You don't make war during the winter, generally speaking. Springtime is for planting. So you may go to war, but your Ashigaru soldiers may be better placed, planting the fields and whatnot. Summer is a great time for war, and there's lots of it across the empire as different clans and daimyos and whatnot disagree with one another and head off to have settle their matters the way that samurai do. Giant fields of men and women dying for a disagreement, but it means also that things are quite busy here. The reason I mention that, Gorobe, is because that may be, it's sort of bordering on another district. It's definitely where, the type of wave man who gives a bad name to other Ronin. That's where the Tilted Crane is. So the fact that he, a crab has gone to, or that Jinzaburo has gone to drink with someone there, it either means that the troublesome guest that this guy was talking about was a wave man who was causing problems, a Ronin, or it was, Jinzaburo maybe, people think you are earthy, like this guy may be a wild man of the mountains. Now, would you do anything while you're speaking to this innkeeper before we I guess the last thing I'll say is you don't need to have directions to the Tilted Crane. You know precisely where this place is.
Yeah.
Anything else you wish to ask of this guy?
I'll just say. So how? Can you describe this samurai to me, please, innkeeper? So I recognize him when I arrive.
The dragon.
Yes, indeed.
Long hair, very robes green like jade in the sun. Gold embroidery, a large hat, straw jingasa like travelers would wear, and a unusual medallion. Something that seemed both water and fire at once.
And his demeanor?
Very agreeable. Very agreeable. He was of great assistance. The guest was most displeased that we did not have room for him. He kind of looks back and forth. I think this is your playfulness kind of playing in here. He leans in. He was a crab.
Oh, well, they're always grumpy, aren't they? Can't be
and
helped.
Big. He sort of points down. There's some scuff marks you can see on his lacquered floor. You're not sure what to make of that or what he's suggesting by that, but the crab are notorious for wearing incredibly heavy armor like it's nothing, like it's a simple kimono or shift, and for making use of weaponry that might, cripple a smaller man or woman from lifting. From the effort of lifting.
I confess, I always prefer my crab steamed with a little light sauce.
He kind of laughs and covers his laugh like to, as if it's clearly inappropriate for him to be laughing at a samurai, but it's... do you need assistance reaching the tilted crane?
I know, I'm familiar, but I think the fact that he chose that establishment tells me something of him. So...
I should say he is not staying there. It is the crab. Now, Gorobe, if you think of crab, you, I think, can draw two conclusions. It may not be surprising that a crab might feel at home there because they are exceptionally brusque and rude individuals from your perspective. They do not care as much for the niceties of Bushido as what other clans do because they have more practical matters on their mind. At least that's what they say. So if a crab is going to find himself sitting and drinking with a bunch of, honorless wavemen, that's not a shock for you. That makes more sense than why a dragon might seek this out. Although he might be a wild man too.
Okay. Well, let me head off then.
Okay.
Let me put this mystery to rest.
All right. So you head out, and as you make your way, out and across the this district and towards the others, you're definitely seeing less of the colorful mons and other kimonos and whatnot of the major clans, and begin to see more of either clans of the color of clans that are less familiar to you, or the drab, like grays and browns and whatnot, that more simple Ronin wear for this. You still are in an area where samurai are not unfamiliar, but it is definitely a more humble district. And it's very, maybe about a block into that is where you finally see the tilted crane. And how does Gorobe, how does he react, I guess, to it? Is obviously something that is a very oblique joke about the Crane clan. Does he take that well? I don't think he's super precious about the Crane clan, is he?
No, he's he would be if it was in front of somebody that mattered. Okay, as it were. He wouldn't want to be seen allowing such things to be said by anybody important. Another samurai, for example. Yeah.
One thing to consider is, in keeping with your playfulness, would it not be for the tilted crane, as it were, you would not have a task. Because your Giri indeed is to watch out for the honor of the crane, is it not?
Indeed.
Yes. So
So
you sort of, chuckle, and you make your way up into the thing. As you're making your way in, there is a man. You're not sure if he's not wearing any swords at his belt, but he has a very vicious-looking knife at his belt. He staggers out, and the swagger with which he kind of bursts out of this place makes you think that he may be, or at least fancy himself, someone of importance. But as soon as he sees you, he sort of stops. You're the brilliant blue of the Crane Clan, or powder blue of the Crane Clan robes, or kimono, in your case, I guess. He stops and kind of looks you up and down, and then makes his way around you without knocking you over. How tall do you think Gorobe is? And I don't mean necessarily in feet. I mean, like, is he a tall man, short man, medium size?
he's probably fractionally above average, but he's heavy set.
Okay. So the would that this guy tried to push his luck, he certainly would have had a difficult time pushing you over. Plus, wherever district they find themselves in, unless they're willing to fight to the death, it is a very foolish gambler who will try and shove a samurai. I mentioned the 3-foot-long razor blade before. So...
Well, because he's he likes his food, so he's got a little extra on. But he is a polearm soldier, so he has a certain amount of muscle to him.
Okay, so you push the door, it kind of creaks open, and you can see inside here. It's not a very big place, and it certainly is much more modest. And unlike the last place where there was like the Blue Lantern, where there is a like foyer or sort of like like a lobby, as it were, that then leads off into the rooms elsewhere in the premises. This is one big place. It's more like a communal hall. It's much closer to like what you would expect from a roadside tavern, where there's like one big open area where there's rice cooking in the middle, and then there are people collected in different areas. To your right, you can see in a corner there are people who are quite brazenly, gambling with shirts off, clear, tattoos running down their arms. They look like very hard men and women. And then the thing that catches your mind is one of the largest individuals that you have seen, and that seems to be the unhappy guest that the proprietor of the Blue Lantern mentioned. And this is this enormous Crab Clan samurai. You also think you can very easily identify the source of the scuffing on the floor, because there is a massive iron-shod club called a Tetsubo that is resting against the wooden wall next to him. And similar scuff marks on the floors here, though the floors here no one will notice. He bursts out laughing at something that someone else has said. There are two what look like Ronin there. They have no mon displayed. They're wearing very, very rough clothing. They're made, and it's not made of silk. It's more likely made of wool or something more modest like that. But the most colorful one among them, apart from the bluish purple of the Crab Clan's armor, or the Crab Samurai's armor, is a green-clad, or in green robes, a long-haired man. Now, let's cut back to Sean and catch ourselves up to where we are. So, where we last left things was with you arriving at the Tilted Crane and Ukayo saying to come on over, to have a drink with the Ronin. Now, what happened next?
I don't think we went too much farther than that, right? So I went over to join him, and I'm taking in the, in taking in where we are.
Yep.
And not being from town, I don't know much about the place, but of course, just going there starts giving hints about, what kind of place it is, because of the neighborhood and obviously the sights and sounds as you're outside.
Yeah.
And then you go inside, and noticing how many wavemen are here, is he's taking that in, and the fact that the person I'm meeting, is just entangled with them. It's just a free for all in here. And so, he's just thinking, he's probably, it's going to be, his approach is going to be, the fact that he's got a meeting at an embassy, that's a major career move here, like in an hour. And so here he is, about to get sake all over himself. That's basically, could we do this tomorrow? Either the meeting or this, or, rather than, these have to be on top of each other. And maybe, right then, he's noticed or something. He's like, well, here we go.
Okay.
That's kind of where that was like the last. That was sort of,
Yeah. Okay. So what I was looking through, I was listening. I was looking through the honor and glory things because had you. This is nothing that's happening in this scene thus far is going to affect your honor or glory. Drinking, if you were displaying drunkenness in front of someone, that may have an impact on glory. But I mean, there's no one. This guy, Ukayo, seems to likely be of the same status. What's your status score?
That is a reasonable question. Let's see. Status. So social. 30. It's 30.
30. Okay, yeah. An average samurai of the Great Clan. So, you're not getting, having sake in a shitty part of town with someone who's beneath you. What is Gorobe's status?
Gorobe's status.
Let's see. It's on the that front page in the right column, just below the roller.
Yep.
Just below the roller. There's 3.
His status is 35.
Okay, yeah. So same thing. You're same tier. Average Great Clan. Incidentally, if you become an Emerald Magistrate, that is a 40 minimum. So you guys may be seeing a jump.
Does that mean we don't make it, or does that mean we jump up to
it? Means you may jump up. You may see an important, significant increase in your importance.
Because I see the adventure right there off the bat. That's not going to work out. If
it's very short. That's why you roll some things, have some drinks with a crab, and that's it.
Right.
What you can see is the you sit down and they are drinking quite heavily, and it appears that they are Ukayo is expecting you to be joining in on this, unless you wish to do so and are happy. If you do so, then what we're going to do, let's see here, let's make this interesting, a bit of a risk reward mechanic here. If you choose to imbibe it with him, that will be fine. However, I think you will need to make a fitness check to try and make sure you are not going to be a little off your game when you meet with Denjuro. Alternatively, you could just flat out refuse, although that maybe there's not going to be any honor or glory consequences, but it may affect your relationship with Ukayo, who it seems has been drinking. And I mean, when has anything bad ever come from a drunken crab? Who seemed prone to violence against a innkeeper when he canceled his thing.
And I will point out my anxiety. It's pretty easy here. The first one, you believe yourself destined for greatness, and nothing will dissuade you from your fixation upon that goal. So, I mean, I think that he's got a big meeting coming up. There's just no really getting around that this meeting. You're not gonna mistake that meeting for like, I can wing it. I've done this a dozen times.
Yeah. So if you choose, that's a good point. So you'll lose. So here's the other option is. You could refuse, but then there's a potential consequence there of calming down a crab once again. But there is, I think, other options. You could try and use a social skill to try and, and how you go about doing that will depend. And your target is certainly going to be someone who is you will want to bear in mind the bluntness. As you were, or as it were, of the crab samurai, blunt as their favored tetsubos. So, I mean, I think he's going to try to be. He knows he's probably a little over his head in here, given just the whole. It's the amount of times he's gotten drunk with wavemen in his life is probably zero. More likely it was boring. It was like thoughtful and in some mountain keep, kind of a thing where he's like, someone do something. So this is like the opposite. So
I think that he's going to try to be clever, probably more suited to a courtier, and but he's going to blame he's going to blame he's going to think that Ukyo, say his name again.
Ukayo.
That Ukayo is going to appreciate me blaming higher ups that demand less drinking. This kind of thing. So he's going to say, I've got, and I mean, I don't think he's going to. God, I guess he would refuse all of it. I'm tempted to try to do mitigated.
Let's do this. We're going to make use of. So there are a number of different conflicts. The game is, does not have a lot of complexity, but where it comes in is in the permutations of it. That's where the differentiation comes in. It's honestly kind of similar to the Dune 2D20 game, where there's a very basic set of rules, and then the permutations of it will help fill out what different scenes are. Conflicts in general, and that includes or models everything from intrigues, which are social interactions, to duels, to combat, like skirmishes between a couple things, to mass combat. All those things are modeled as conflicts, and it's just that each of them has a different type of role. When you're in conflict is when we take advantage of the stances. So in each scene, we go back and forth in a conflict of you take an action, or first we roll initiative, then we do what do you call it? Do you take actions or not? And yeah, that's it. And then we keep going until we reach a resolution. Now, in this case, what now we know what you want to do. Is your goal to not drink with this guy?
I think as much he knows he's heading into the teeth here, but because of his delusions of grandeur, I don't think I can go anywhere else, given the height of the meeting he's heading into. Yeah. So that's what he's going to do. He's going to and he's going to try to blame it on higher ups, thinking that will appeal.
Well, so that's good to know, and I think we're going to have Gorbe show up shortly after this. I'm putting a token down there because I'm going to give you his strife, because he. What you can do is you can inflict strife on them. And one of the ways of modeling this is to, when you exceed their strife, and you've succeeded in what you want. So let's see here.
He blinks before I blink, hopefully.
Exactly. So let's see here. I'm just quickly refreshing my memory here. All right, so I'm looking at page 257 for the intrigue actions 257 that you can take. Mm-hmm. Right, this is momentum points. Right. Okay, great. So it's very much similar to a lot of the other games we played, where you got to kind of like fill up a meter, and then when the meter is full, then you get your success. The downside here is going to be his increasing strife. If he loses his temper, I'll just leave that hanging. I've already described the Tetsubo. Right. And this guy just met you. He's your friend right now, but unfortunately he is a mercurial sort.
Volatile.
Okay, I'll put the red, because I'm assuming you're not fighting him right now, so I don't need to worry about wounds. But let's put the red as his
no fighting.
Strife, or his composure, I should say. Let's see here. And he is... Yeah. Okay. You guys can see that. Bottom overlapping. And then we'll give... Let's set the momentum. At, let's see here. I don't want to make it too long, so I don't want to... Here we go. Okay, complicated tasks, crewing, momentum. I'm looking at page 253. It's kind of like extended tasks in Star Trek Adventures or Acting Cthulhu.
Okay.
Let's put it 9 as well, too. We'll keep the equal thing. So the blue bar will be your momentum, and the... Oh, you know, and you guys can see. Everyone can see. There we go. Everyone can see. Boom, there you go. Red bar, strife. If that fills up, he loses his temper. Crab are, at least the stereotype of the crab, is not a very nuanced response to stressors. It is generally to crush it.
And I already have a 3 strife, right?
You do, because I can't remember what that came from, but you are still... Yeah,
I'm the same. I can't remember either. But, well, I mean, you know, he's heading into a big meeting, if nothing else. And, you know.
So the next thing, you're not going against your drawback there. So, or your, whatever it is, your disadvantage.
Anxiety.
Yes, and the way it works basically is, absent other stuff you're going to do, you make a persuade action, depending on what you're doing. On a success, you add 1 momentum point towards the social objective, plus 1 additional momentum for every 2 bonus successes.
Okay.
Okay. So this is where void points might be of value as well. So this is our first conflict. So let's do this. First thing we need to do is roll initiative. Initiative in this is a sentiment check. Now, you will want to take a look at, and this is for both of you, because Gorobei, you'll shortly be walking in on this. The stances now do impact on actions against you. So if, say, someone is trying to scheme, someone is trying to agitate you, and just increase your strife flat on, which I'm sure this guy's going to do. Earth would allow you to prevent them from getting conditions or whatnot on you. Water, and similarly, this ends up being the ring that you use for whatever you are doing that round. So again, start of the round, you pick your... let's see, do any of them affect initiative? No. Yeah. Okay, this is awesome. All right. So, and when do you... Oh, it's on your turn you pick your stance.
And do I need to do anything for initiative? Exactly.
You do. So initiative, you're going to roll sentiment.
Roll sentiment.
Yeah.
Okay.
So target number 1 sentiment, and let's see here. For initiative, for those listening at home, sir, as we said at the outset of this, it's one of the first times we're playing the game again, so forgive us for having to figure out
our first conflict, no less.
First conflict, yeah. You can use any ring for that check. After you resolve your initiative check, then you enter the stance matching the ring you used. There you go. So it depends on what ring you're using as you enter into the initiative order.
Say the last part again. So I'm going to choose any ring I want. And
what ring you choose to roll with for initiative, that dictates what stance you are starting your turn in.
I see. Gotcha. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's going to be water or earth. Let's see here.
Okay. And your base initiative, if you were aware of the conflict, it will be your focus attribute. If you're unprepared, it will be your vigilance. You get to add that to it as well. So it's a number of successes you get from this roll, plus your base stat.
What was the first one?
Focus was like Star Wars. Focus is... if you were ready for the conflict, it's focus.
I'm ready.
You were... Well, so you knew that you were going to refuse to drink with him?
Oh, I see. Well, I mean, I knew that. I knew this. I was thinking. I knew this was going to be very stressful. Like, I'm going to go drink with this. My thinking. I mean, maybe not. I mean, I didn't know the exact.
Yeah, cool. It depends on how much Ginsborough was sort of suffering it over in his head. He seemed quite eager to join him. Maybe not realizing that he was going to be in for the full.
That's true. Maybe. I guess it depends on his read of the Bushi. He just seemed like trouble, but I didn't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm not from town, so it can go either way. Yeah, that's fine. Let's say I wasn't prepared for what I was prepared for a little action, no doubt. This is no, but this is just the full blown, no holds barred drunk fest I'm heading into. I wasn't aware that it was going to be quite the disaster of that.
I'm seeing. So I'm seeing if you have to re-roll initiative each round. Let's see here. Only round 2. We roll initiative once.
Okay.
Sorry about that. It's just it's not apparent. Okay, so then go ahead and click on your. Is there an initiative bar on your or button on your,
like a roller?
Maybe it's under conflict mode. There's a roller. There is defense checks. Does not appear to be.
I don't think so.
I don't see it here.
I agree.
I don't. Okay, sorry, I'm flipping around in your character sheet there, James.
Yeah. It's not obvious.
Madison, get out of there. Let me minimize. I got my DM's thing for rolling dice. All right, so let's do this, guys. Let's have. I'll just add your character in here.
Still sentiment using the ring I want?
Yes, it is. Yeah. It's a sentiment using whatever ring you like. Go ahead and make your roll.
So I think he's going to be trying to remain calm.
Okay.
So it's Earth.
Okay.
And I am going to, he like takes a deep breath.
Yeah.
And eyes the Bushi, kind of closes his eyes, knows this is going to be a little rough, and tries to remain calm. And we're going to spend a void point here.
Okay. Very nice.
And so that is the That's the green.
An extra. Yep. It's a green, and it's an extra ring dice you will roll afterwards.
Okay. All right.
And actually, hold on. To make this easier for you, let me make a roll here. Tell you what his initiative is. Okay. So and remember, you're adding your vigilance. He did not expect you to reject, so he's actually using his vigilance, which is worse. 4 and social's 1. Okay, so let's see here. Social is 1, 3, and that's it. Okay, so this will be, it's 1, 2, so it's 5 is what his initiative is in total.
Okay. Vigilance is where? Where's vigilance?
Vigilance is, I think, under conflict mode.
Okay.
Focus and vigilance. Your vigilance is a 2.
Got it. I see. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm better if I'm prepared. If I'm prepared for the meeting rather than winging it. Okay. All right. Sentiment using Earth plus. Let's see. Just to check it out, I'll see if the modifier. There's a modifier field. I don't know. I'm not sure how that.
Yeah. Try to see what happens.
Okay, I'll put 2 in there just for.
Well, you're adding 1, right, from your void ring?
I was thinking that the adding vigilance, but that's not what it's.
Oh, yeah,
doing,
no, you're
huh?
absolutely right. Yeah, try that. Let's see what happens.
See what happens. Sentiment Earth. Okay.
Okay, that seemed to do nothing. So you've got 0 in sentiment. So what you did get, though, is go ahead and roll 1 more. Actually, roll 2 more ring dice, because 1 for your void and then 1 for that exploding dice, if you're keeping it.
Yes. Okay. There we go.
Ugh, only opportunities. Okay, now. Characters can spend opportunities on initiative checks in the normal manner and also in several special ways. Let's see here. And that is, I believe, number 2. Opportunity table number 2. Yeah, there you go. Now, I didn't roll any. Because you were in Earth stance,
Yes.
you could choose another character's disadvantage. You know they do not apply that disadvantage to their checks in this scene. That would be useful if Gorobe had a disadvantage that would come into play here. Like,
But do I know? Do I know it though? That's the issue. I
yeah,
guess.
you don't know them as of yet, but that would be one thing. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything else of interest.
To
Yeah.
use the opportunities. Yeah.
And I think one way that this differs, the spending to remove strife, you need to be in water stance to just flat out remove strife. The general spending of removing 1 strife is only from this check. So I'm looking here, guys, on number 2. So see general examples. 1, you can remove strife that you gain from the check, but in order to actually remove strife in general, you need to be in the water stance.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
that was, what did you roll? Sorry, how many successes?
1 with so let's see.
Okay,
1
sir.
success, 3 opportunity, and 1 stress.
All right.
Strife.
Strife, yeah. Or stress. Let's see here. Let's move him up there. All right. So then it appears for this first pass, Ukayo is going to be going first. So, what are we going to do here? Oh, you can reduce your... Oh, that's calming, but that's only if your strife is over half.
What about Earth? Reassure another character in the scene with your presence. I'm looking at opportunity table number 1.
Number 1.
Earth.
Yeah.
Or act carefully to minimize consequences of failure.
Yeah,
or dangers.
So I can tell you that fire, inflame another character in the scene with your presence, cause them to receive 2 strife. That is most definitely something I'm working towards here.
Yeah.
I did roll in fire stance. So he looks at you, and he's going to try and persuade you. You guys are of equal status rank. So the TN check is equal to the highest vigilance. What is your vigilance again? Hold on, I got it in front of me. It's 2. So where the vigilance comes in as well is that comes into the difficulty for him. So his difficulty is 2 on you. He is trying to persuade you to come and have a drink. So he looks over and it says, "Come on, Dragon-san! The sake will not drink itself, and I would take offense if you do not drink with us. Come!" So let's put his dice pool together here. I'm on the wrong table. So as a Ronin, his social stuff is not great. Where are we here? He is. I should say as well for those listening at home, not every game of this would play this slowly. We're just new to it.
Right.
There's a lot of figuring out how to do stuff still in play. So the warts and all is what you get on the Dungeon Musings channel. So fire approach. Oh, shit. And when he gets strife results on this, on his dice, he counts those as successes because of his fire stance.
That sounds ominous.
That sounds ominous, yeah. All right, and then... that earth thing could be great to reduce his strife as well, right?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then... I was checking to see what command is under. I don't know if it was under... It is under social, so he's not going to be great at that. All right, so social is there. Ooh, mama. That and 3. Do NPCs have avoid points? If he's an adversary. Yep. Let's see here. I do not remember. I won't use void points in any event. All right, so he is turning and sort of barking at you. Come! Come sit! And let's see how his roll goes. I can keep 3 dice. Oh, that's hot garbage. So he does not... I can't get a success, but I can...
It's possible he doesn't take me seriously. Why would he?
Yeah, it's quite possible. Now, I have a... Let me double check here. I don't know if I can spend opportunities when I failed. Here we go. Using opportunity. So the only thing I cannot do is turn success into failure. So I can spend that, which means without... He is really... I can keep 3 of those. Oh, Jinzaburo. You're going to gain 4 strife. Yep. And I won't make you unmask of yet. It's been a long-ass day. I think I'll spend the last one. He can see sort of your, the way you tightened up as you came into the sort of dive bar. He's clocked you as someone who thinks of themselves as fairly important. So that's his... I'm spending 1 point to give him a way of success to try and work that angle next time.
Okay.
So obviously this is upsetting for you.
Yep.
It is now your turn. Jinsaburo, what are you doing?
Let's see. So I got and that involves my last roll, right? Or no?
No, now it's your. Now we're looking at your action. So that is on page. Let me just mark this one page here.
Is there any chance for me to have spent those 3 opportunities if it's from the?
You were in the Earth stance. What were you thinking of spending it on?
I was thinking of spending it on. Let's see if you. I had it here. Maybe it was in the first one. Hang on. Stand by. Oh, it's up there. There it is. Reassure another character in the scene with your presence. So, wait. Act carefully to minimize consequences of failure or other dangers that could arise from the task.
You haven't taken an action yet, though.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
So then, you find yourself in the Earth stance. Now, I believe at the start of each... for the first round, this is where you'll be in the stance. Then the start of the next round is when you get to pick your different stance. And Gorobe, you'll be arriving after Jinsaburo takes his action.
I am going to... I'm going to try to... My intent is to regain myself. So my stress is way too high. Yeah, so he's...
Or are you thinking calming breath? Page 257. As a support action, you take a deep breath to calm yourself and recover stamina. If your strife is greater than half your composure, you remove 1 strife. If your failure is greater than half Fatigue is greater than half your endurance. You remove 1 fatigue. That's only 1, I guess. You're hoping for something a little better.
I mean, if it exists, but if that's
so the other actions, at least the ones that are set out here, you could. There's no one else to assist here, so you could persuade. This is where you're trying to get momentum to try and convince this guy to just let you, get away without triggering a fight with him.
Yeah. I think.
Do you have any shuji? I can't remember. Those are the social techniques.
Doesn't ring a bell.
So where are your techniques here? Let's see here. You've got fires from within, so you can burn them. Path to inner peace.
We're going to have to burn the tavern. That is the last.
Yes, I don't think you have any shuji.
No.
Okay, so
I think at this point I think he's going to calming breath. It's way too high. He's just gonna I think he freezes up at this point, realizing that he's just way over his head here.
Okay.
And Ukayo's eyes are just burning a hole through him, and he thought he could handle this, and Ukayo's like, are you serious? Like, you're going to what now? And I'm just like, oh my goodness, no.
So you're in the Earth stance right now, right?
Yeah, which is appropriate because it's I'm trying to be calm.
Yeah,
trying to be.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So then, with the end of that round, now are you moving over at least to where he is?
I think slowly. Like I'm just delaying. Like it's sort of awkward.
Sure.
I'm like just not even. I'm trying to, and everyone's like, what are you doing? Come on over. And I'm like,
So he laughs and pours sake in front of you, and I think this is where we'll have Gorobe arrive. So like, unbeknownst to you, Gorobe, Jinzaburo's not been sitting here drinking all day. He has only been arriving. Let me ask you one thing too, guys. Will it be easier? Let me do one. Actually, let me just do this, and you tell me if this is helpful or not. Go to my map screen here. Go. On my map of Rokugan, the big thing, I've got all the options in the background of that one. I wonder if it would be helpful to have that on like all of these scenes where we're not using.
Maybe.
Let me go to the map screen here. I'm going to go under it. There we go. Now let me get rid of Rokugan here. Fuck off, Rokugan. But what I'll do is I'll put these little things on the side here so you don't need to keep opening up a bunch of separate windows. Is that helpful?
Let me see. Yeah, just got to make sure we're you're zoomed in, and then just to read them, and then it's on our end.
What screen?
And I get one back from calming breath, right? So I do recover one, I believe it looks like.
One, yes, you do. Yeah, with calming breath. Yeah. So is that helpful? At least having it all in the one.
Yeah, I think so. Let's work with it a little bit, and we'll see.
We'll see. Instead of having a bunch of things open.
Yes.
And I can actually. Let's do this here. I'll make the picture a little smaller so you can still appreciate the full view of the Toshisoto district.
Are these tables in the book or in
they are? Yeah, they're scattered in
pack or something.
No, all those are in the. They're in the book as well, but they are in sort of different sections. They might have a collection of them at. Yeah, there are also collections of them are at the back in the appendix. Pages 328, and although only some of them are there, it's the momentum spends are there. The critical strike is some from the combat section, and the stances is from I can't remember where else. So if you want bigger versions, I could do is I think I can extract them from it and maybe send you just a PDF with just these in it as well too, so you can have it on the phone or a tablet or something like that, separate from the actual game. More options better than not, I guess. In any event, so Jinzaburo has sat down. Now, Gorobe, tell me what you were expecting to find in the tilted crane here.
It's a bit of a dive. Been here before. Crab, pretty low expectations.
Okay. So what I'm fishing for is whether, I mean, to be honest, your focus and your vigilance are both 3. So it's the same number we're adding to it. It will dictate what you are. If you had a difference in them, it would dictate whether you're coming in and realizing like, oh shit, we've got a drunk crab who seems to have, as it were, captured our dragon clan, the guy you're looking for. I think in your capacity as a magistrate, while you're not like a simple Eureki where you're disarming drunk samurai or things like that, you do know a potentially dangerous situation when you walk into one. Not only for yourself, but also for this hapless crab samurai. Gorobei strikes me as a fairly open-hearted person, so you may see this crab as a victim of his own personality or circumstances. You can tell me if I got that wrong.
Now, you two are talking, right?
You can see,
sort of.
Basically, I think what you read, because you've got that advantage, subtle observer.
Exactly.
As does actually Jinzaburo. When you walk in, there is this moment where, like, as you sit down, the crab claps you on the shoulder. Ukayo kind of like,
And he might be even, draw me in because I don't really want to take the stool. Like, I don't, it's all of a sudden, now I don't want to go there. And he's like, no, kind of like.
Yeah, so as Gorobei walks in and everyone sort of looks over at you, there's a couple things. As a subtle observer, what you can notice is that Gorobei has the markings of, the marking for an Emerald Magistrate on his kimono.
Now, there's a question of whether I notice, I think, at this point. I probably have a little bit of tunnel vision is all I'm suggesting. But maybe I do. Maybe I do.
Yeah, one of your distinctions is subtle observer.
Okay.
So I think that with that will be sufficient. And with Gorobei, your subtle observer, I think, is you can easily read that, oh boy,
he's in trouble.
This is not necessarily a willing, he's got the look of someone, and I mean, we haven't seen Jinzaburo unmask yet, but he's, whatever tics and whatnot that he's manifests as it gets closer to that, they are on full display here.
Okay.
The fact that he still has his Jingasa on his head suggests that he may have only just arrived here, but the grip that the crab has on his shoulder suggests that the crab expects him to stay with these other leering and laughing Ronin. So with that in mind, let's go into the second round. Gorobei, you will be rolling initiative for this, so whatever ring you use to roll your sentiment skill, that will dictate your stance for the round.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go with air because that also ties in with my subtle observer later anyway.
Okay.
So let's go with that.
Go. 2 successes plus your oops, move that down here. Plus your, I mean, vigilance and focus are the same thing. It will be 3, so you're on a 5 as well. Now, how about you tie breaking in this?
I got some stress, right?
I think you could. Oh yes, you would have. You got strife from that as well. Yeah. Maybe you walk in and it's just like never easy. Let's see here, and the one with the lowest honor acts first, followed by others in ascending honor. So there's an advantage of being dishonorable. So you walk in, and then I guess the crab, that means the crab will have initiative over you. So Ugayo, Ugayo, I'm saying his name wrong now, aren't I? Or is that right? Ukayo. I gotta put his name down on here. I'm gonna forget. Hida Ukayo. And you guys should be able to see his nameplate now. All right. He looks over at you, and once again, with sort of a commanding tone, is going to try and say, he sees you walk in, "Oh, magistrate, the Crane are always here to ruin fun. Sit down. Sit down." And let's make a check for him here. All right. Well, I'm taking that strife because he's going to start. He is. If he can't get a drink, he'll be happy to get a fight. So let me put this down here. I'm going to move him up a scooch, make him a little bit smaller. There we go. All right. I have, one exploding dice and an opportunity. I can keep 3 of these. So I got one opportunity, one strife. Let's add to his strife here. And I got to roll an exploding dice. That'll be 1 of these. Success and another opportunity. So I got 3 opportunity and 2 successes. So I'm just going to put the success into his... Oh, wait, what? Wait. He did not succeed against you, did he? Because your vigilance is a 3.
Yep.
So he has not convinced you. You're free to do whatever the hell you want on this. He's not making himself more angry. I am going to use all of that strife, though, all of those opportunities to slap 3 or 6 strife on you there, Gorbe.
Wow.
Oh, that's a lot.
He is really trying to piss you guys off. Then it is Gorbe's turn. What are you doing, Gorbe?
I will just go in with a courteous... I'm going to go in and just... It's going to be a courtesy roll, but I'm just going to say, I say, Gasha-san, I find you at last. I turn to the crab, and I say, Crab-san, I see you've got my colleague with you. I tell you, he's not the man for a good drinking session like this. I know these men. They're going to find Gasha-san a little bit of a lightweight, I think. Let me take him off your hands.
Okay. I think... Let me just read Delusions of Grand here. What page is it on again?
Hang on, stand by. Oh, I usually have page numbers.
Yeah.
Shoot, let's see. I don't have a page number somehow.
That is okay. I can find it.
That's unfortunate.
But you've got to realize that he's also going to realize that I'm just being playful.
132.
That's only with characters who are of, what is it, equal or lower status?
Yep.
Page 132, Delusions of Grandeur.
Okay, let's see here. So 122 said?
132.
132, okay, thank you.
Sure.
All right, let's see here. Delusions of Grandeur. It's after you perform a check. Never mind. So we're not automatically
So is
gaining 3 strike.
Jinzaburo of higher status?
Jinzaburo would technically be lower status. You are actually a Emerald Magistrate right now. So your status would technically be a 40. So, and his is, I believe, 30. So it would actually be lesser status than you.
Yeah, so my playfulness would work.
Yep. And what does playfulness do again? Does it prevent them from...
Yeah, they don't get angry. Because they realize that I'm with my big beaming smile. You see it there?
Yeah.
He's...
Okay.
Everyone...
So then, what is your approach?
Rings.
Air. Do you want to spend a void point as well?
why not?
Okay, so
So
you'll
that
be able
would
to...
be
So
An extra ring?
what you need to do is roll a separate. Let's roll your dice first. See what you get, because you may need to re-roll some stuff anyway.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Okay, that's a good result. Now roll one more, just one ring dice, a black dice.
Let me
2, 3, and you can keep 3 of the total here now, because of your void point spent. Opportunity and a strife. Okay. Ooh, this is a tricky decision. So you can keep 3 of those. Reaching your threshold does not cause you to unmask. It is exceeding the threshold that gives the potential. And let's see about. I believe unmasking is in your hand. There is. Let me tell you. Okay, if you're over your limit, you are compromised. Compromised character's vigilance attribute counts as a 1, and when making a check, a compromised character cannot keep dice containing strife symbols. So that's the only consequence of being over. And then once per scene, you may choose to have your character unmask. You can do things or say things you wouldn't normally. Examples are like bending principles, honors challenge, exposing and opening, whatever. So you're not automatically unmasking when you exceed when you're compromised. It just means that any dice that has a strife on it, you can't use that in your dice pool any longer.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, what do I need to succeed in?
His vigilance is a 2, so you need 2 in order to start adding momentum to convince this guy to fuck off or like calm down and drink on his own.
So if I take 2 successes there, one without strife, one with,
Yep.
and the advantage, whatever it's called,
Opportunity?
opportunity,
Yep.
then that progresses us.
It does. That would give you, with if you take 2 successes, that grants 1 your progress towards escaping drinks or a scrap with a crab, and gets by 1. Then, what do you want to spend your opportunity on?
So
You're in air. Yeah, let's see here. Oh, you could remove a strife you gain from this check for 1.
okay, that might be worthwhile.
And then because you are in air, let's see here. Oh, that's only an initiative check. Learn another's demeanor, subtly act to avoid attention. Notice an interesting detail about a character in the scene, like an advantage or disadvantage. Okay. So you're just not going to take the strife?
Yep, I'll just
Okay.
get rid of the strife.
Then it is Jinzaburo's turn. So Jinzaburo, what stance are you in?
Water.
Water stance now. Okay, cool.
Because he is trying to remain above it all. So he's trying to think of what his father would do. He doesn't know what his father would do. And he's just like, he's trying to like just get a little bit above it. He's trying to breathe. Like, okay, here we go.
Okay.
And the guy he's drawing, the Bushi's drawing me in a little bit with that, that fake friendly, more evil smile, at
Yep.
least as far as Jinzaburo's thinking, and he's just trying to remain calm.
You know what I'll tell you guys as well? I think I need to give you each a void point, because I've introduced a pretty clear complication that you guys were not expecting. I don't think either of you were expecting to, fight or drink contest with a crab suddenly. So,
Indeed.
Gorobe, you have your void point back that you spent, and Jinzaburo, you'll get back your void point that you spent.
Nice. Okay.
Now, what action are you taking?
I think he's going to try to.
I'm looking at page 257. So some of the examples they give for persuade, which is the way you trigger these things.
Yeah.
Command
I'm
is
heading.
one. Courtesy is another. But games, performance, other skills you can use to try and distract them. And each of those is affected by the status. So if the status rank of the target is lower for command, it decreases the target number. If in courtesy, if the status rank is higher than you can decrease the number. And if you're doing games, if it's equal to yours, you decrease the number by 1.
He's going to go courtesy, and he's going to sort of maybe a little awkwardly try to pitch in with Gorobe, which is not his preference. He'd rather look strong. I mean, obviously all samurai, but he's trying to prove himself in a more general sense. But he's failed that, and now he's just pitching himself on Gorobe's life raft of like, lightweight, lightweight. This kind of like awkward. Yeah.
Okay, so it does not modify the target number one way or the other because he's of equal status to you.
Okay.
That's an interesting mechanic. I did not realize that before, that, like the command against you, Gorobe, it actually would have been harder because you're a higher status than what he is.
Okay.
So I failed. I didn't even roll the 3 successes, but he would actually needed 4 against you because you're a magistrate.
Makes sense.
So then, go ahead, Agasha, or Jinzo.
And I'm definitely spending a void point. I'm blowing through void points here. That's just what I'm doing.
Yep.
Whether you gave me one or not was irrelevant.
I was getting said.
I was already baked in. That's he's an emergency pull up. So I'm rolling courtesy here.
Target number is a 2. So if you get 2 successes, you do 1 momentum on him. If you every extra success on top of that is more. Look at that, nice. And then roll your void point as well, and then you can keep 3 of them.
Okay. There we go. So
what are you thinking?
And I get, so now should I? Oh, because I keep.
You pick 3 that you keep because you spent a void point. So there's 1 exploding, another exploding with 1 strife, and then another success. You could be.
So I'm going to keep the 2 exploding and the 1 success without stress.
Okay. So then roll us an extra
2, right?
Ring dice and skill dice.
Right.
Because they're exploding.
Yes. I was noting what exploded. I hadn't, right.
Yep.
1 of each. Okay.
So let's see what we hear. Nice. Okay, so you do gain 2 strife, but you have 2 opportunity, and you gained 1 success on top of it. You've generated. Here we go. You got 3 momentum towards pacifying this guy now. What do you want to spend the extra 2 momentum on? Or opportunity?
We have potentially crossed a rules threshold here because I have 8 of 8 strife.
Only when you exceed your composure.
Okay, so that's why the possibility I didn't know.
Yep.
So I'm okay.
It's when you exceed. That's actually one like in the Fantasy Flight Star Wars games. That's why they call them a threshold. Right, It's when you go over the threshold. It's an interesting way of thinking about the mechanics, and it really kind of gets around the 0 hit point thing. That's a lot of D&D games are like, just short circuiting like a 60s sci-fi robot. Error.
Right.
Anyway, so you're not there yet. What do you want to spend the opportunity on?
Well, no question. I mean, that was the point of the water. So I am going to be for an opportunity, I can remove 2 strife
for each opportunity spent. Yeah.
Yeah. So and I've got what do I have? I have 2. I have
2 opportunity,
right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm spending both on that.
Nice.
I'm just freezed up. I'm kind of like I'm wanting to go to Gorobe. Like I'm and he's near the door. So the whole I'm trying to get out of the grip. I'm just trying to pull back.
Yep. Okay, love it.
Yeah.
All right. So then it is Ukayo's turn. So he is a little wounded that Gorobe hasn't even come over to sit down yet. So he once again turns back to you, but now that he and the DM are more mindful of how the rules work in here, he's going to shift tactics. Now, he is not as good at this as he is because he is a crab, so he's not super courteous. He is going to still try fire stance with courtesy here. So the difficulty will now be a 2 because you are higher status than him. He says, manners, always manners with you, Crane. Please, magistrate, would you come and sit kindly and have a drink with us? Let's see how he does. Okay, I can keep... Oh, I got a success. So, what? Oh, I got a success and an extra success if I keep that. Which I'll do. Oh, wait. I'm in fire stance. I can also count my strife as successes.
Wow.
So what that means is I have 5 successes in total. I needed 2. If I keep all 3 of those. So here's what's... And I'm not trying to screw you guys over here. But this is how I guess it would work, is he's taking away from your momentum. Every 2 successes is when you get to add an additional momentum. So that means I'll let you keep yours because I fucked up. I'll let you keep that in your favor. I didn't fuck up now. I have 3 extra successes. I can only take away 2 momentum from it. He seems to think that he is having you come and join him. You don't have to do anything, Gorbe, one way or the other. And then his extra... He's not removing any strife from himself. I'm
thinking it might be quicker if I just hit him with my Naginata.
It's quite possible. You certainly don't feel restricted to this. Just there will be other consequences potentially with that. I think he's going to add 2 stress back to you, or 2 strife back to you there, Jinsaburo. He's staying.
I get 2?
Yep.
I get 2?
You get 2. And he gets 2 strife as well. All right. That fire stance. That dangerous fire stance. Gorobe, your turn. What are you doing?
I guess...
So because he is lesser status than you, command would make it 1 less. The difficulty of command against him would be a TN of 1. So command would be 1. Courtesy would be 2. And games, performance, any other skills would be a 2 as well.
I'm still probably better off with...
And if you have something else too, like situational modifiers, like in other games, they factor into this as well. So if you have something that you think might, a different approach, you might want to role play in a certain way, that stuff can have an effect on the circumstances as well.
No, well, I'll just keep my smiling face. And... Crab-san, I know, but you crab know about duty, and this magistrate needs to go do his magistrate's work. You know how it is. Work for the Emperor is necessary.
I think that is
we can't
very...
all have pleasures.
Yep. So if you're still going in courtesy, I'll actually reduce his target number by 1. That's a great approach. Are you spending void point too?
Why not? Let's do that.
Hell yes. Holy smokes. All right, and then you also roll another ring dice. And then you can pick 4 of those to succeed. Nice. Look at that. All right, so you have 4 of those you can pick as successes. And what approach are you using?
Water.
Water approach, yeah. Sorry, it says it on the screen, Madison. You can read it. So then, what are you thinking? What 4, up to 4 are you keeping?
Now. Exploding's just going to get me around, so I'll have that success. I guess I'll take 3 successes. That's 2 strife. But
Okay. How
now,
many?
does that
are-
trips me over, then I can't use them.
No, it's only afterwards. We because you can
Afterwards,
spend
okay.
opportunities to reduce strife. It's after all of your action is done. Then we look to see if you've exceeded.
Then I may as well go. So I'll take the success of the extra roll.
Yep, 3
The
more.
2 successes of the skill dice and the exploding dice of the ring.
Okay. Remember the black ones are the ring dice. The white ones are the skill dice.
Oh, right, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. So you get
Okay,
2
so the
successes
skill
and then
dice.
exploding dice as well. So you got right
That'll
now.
be 3 successes and exploding dice, right?
So you're at 4 successes right now. Roll just a skill dice again.
Skill dice.
Let's see what we get here. Come on. Another success. Boo.
Nothing.
Boo. All right, so here's what you get. You get 2 strife out of that, but you get 4 successes, which means you can generate 2. You're right back to where you were as far as momentum is concerned. And you didn't get any opportunity. Interesting. So I guess you are now currently at 10 or 11 strife, right?
11, yep.
Okay. You can choose to unmask, or you can just be kind of simmering there. And from what you said before, James, am I correct? He's just like stroking the shit out of his beard.
He'll be like this, but no, he's going to keep it together.
Okay. Okay. So it is obvious to you, Jinzaburo, that Gorobe is very agitated by whatever is happening here.
Join the. Come on in. The water's warm.
Jinzaburo, your turn. What are you doing?
I hope you're not looking to Jinzaburo to calm the whole. I think. Man, I mean, Jinzaburo is he's just still stressed out. I mean, he started calming again, and then he got pulled in again by the Bushi. Like, he's not really escaping here, and he's looking for rescue, and he's sticking to it. I think he's going to be he's going to be water. It's going to be water, and I think that let me go back to.
You can be creative as well too. If you want to use another skill, like the kind of games, performance, other skills stuff, as long as you're the same status, it reduces the target number by 1, and you can use pretty much anything, as long as it makes sense in the scene.
I think. I think he's going to possibly ill-advised. He's going to. This is more really of what he'd be about anyway, and he's going to try to go command and go. Our meeting's coming up. No, seriously. Like, he's going to turn from that weird kind of like panicked laugh to no. We're headed to the embassy. And he's going to try to turn weakly out of this grasp.
Okay.
With that meek command.
Sure. And do you wish to spend a void point?
Yes. Oh, that's automatic. I'm blowing through the voids. That's automatic.
And I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Hi, Goober. Her internal clock, ever since we started playing till 2:30 on some days, her internal clock is completely fucked up.
Yeah. That's understandable.
Yeah. Oh, good girl. All right. So then, go ahead and make your roll whenever you are ready.
Okay. So I did notice, I haven't been using it, that there's a on the skill there's a ring field right there. So I'm putting in the extra.
Of course.
So why wasn't I using that? So I'm putting that in for the void point spend.
Okay.
And I am changing it to water command, and here we go. Okay.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
You had 0 in command skill, I guess. Okay. So that's 2 exploding successes and an opportunity. You can keep all 3 if you want. You will gain 3 strife from it, but I mean...
That's fateful. That would break the threshold, I will add.
But only afterwards, after the...
Okay. It doesn't manifest till the whole thing's done.
Yep,
Gotcha.
You're not conflicted until after you fully resolve the thing, so...
Yes, interesting. Well, then, I'm going to take all 3.
Okay.
I'll take all 3.
So that might push you over, but you got at least an opportunity which could be spent to reduce it by 2. So...
No question. That is what he is going to do.
So go ahead and give us, because you're keeping those, roll 2 ring dice, please.
Okay.
That's what it explodes into.
Yep. Okay.
So you've done one momentum so far. Another opportunity, another strife. Interesting. So you have 2 opportunities and 1 extra strife. So you'll be at. I know you said one of them is being spent to reduce it. Let me put your momentum up here. So you're getting closer to. You're not quite at the halfway point of convincing him yet. In fairness, he has been drinking a lot.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do between now and next session 2 is I'm going to look at some of the pre-made adventures and see where I may have set this difficulty too high for the momentum for 2 players.
What if this is the adventure? Like
This is it. Yeah, this is it, guys.
if I get out of the bar, we achieve.
He's almost ready to get up. Like, no, sit down again. Like, oh, God damn it.
He is the dragon. He is the owlbear.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. No joke. So one of the things they had back in the day was they had rules for this thing called the robot deck. It was a crab deck. If you wanted to test a deck against someone or you wanted to play against someone, you put together a very specified deck with specified cards, and it had specified actions it would take. So it was the crab robot was what it was called. Chad and I had one night where we got back drunk from the bar, fucking like 3 a.m, and we're like, let's play the robot deck. So we sat out and we fucking lost to the robot deck because we were too drunk.
Oh my goodness.
So this all fits. The drunk robot crab is back to get you.
So I was at 7 before the exploding.
Yeah, before the exploding dice,
right
you're now
there.
at 1 more strife up, and you have another opportunity you could spend. Anything you'd like to do here?
Gosh, I mean, on the one hand, trying to be creative is interesting, but I'm at 8 of 8, so I don't know how he can't just like be still doing deep breathing and picture what his father would do. And take it down to 6. I mean, at this point, I don't think I can pass that.
Here's
up.
what you could do as well: is if you're sitting hot, you could 1 2 point. Oh, it's 2 opportunity expend. Sorry, is to give. Oh, you're in water, not in earth. Never mind. So you get to help Gorobe calm down a bit, but that ain't happening.
Yeah.
All right. What you could do as well is if you had an extra opportunity to spend, you could give an assistance, which I believe allows him to keep an extra ring dice. Oh, using assistance depends on whether you are trained in the thing or not. If you are trained in it, if you have a point of skill, they get to add an extra skill dice to their roll. If you're not trained in it, they add an extra ring dice to the roll. So that's how assisting others works in the game.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
All right, so then it is
I'm reducing.
Ukayo's turn. He says, I'm beginning to think you don't want to drink with me. If you don't want to drink, we'll play games. And he's talking to you, Jinsaburo. So let's do this. And I think he's taking fire again. He doesn't really care how things go, and he doesn't care about his strife. So let's see. So that is, he can keep 3. That's 1, 2, 3 successes on it, which means, and a exploding dice. Let's roll that exploding dice. I will keep that. And so 1, 2, 3. I need 1 more success. Sorry, what is your vigilance again, Jinsburo?
2.
Oh, you're lucky he's not going against you, Gorobe, because you're compromised. Your vigilance counts as a 1 right now. So let's roll this. All right, so I got my extra 1. I'm taking 2 of those momentum away. Wait, hold on. 1, 2. No, I'm not. I'm taking 1 away. There we go, because I only can afford 1. Your vigilance is too high. I take 1 more strife from that. Wait, 1, 2, 3. No, I did get 4. That is 1 more away. And I get 1 more strife. And what am I going to spend that opportunity on? Let's push you back up there again, Jinsaburo. Your strife's back up to an 8. Keeping life interesting.
Yeah.
It's negotiating with an angry drunk. I think we've all been there before. I'm like, come on, man. All right. Gorobe. And again, you don't need to stay in this. If you want to transition this into a combat, you can do that.
Yep.
So, Gorbe, you're up
um,
next. What are you doing?
I guess, again, through gritted teeth, but I have a very good way of hiding things. I'll stick again at courtesy with him.
Okay. And what approach are you thinking? Water again. Nice. All right, so fuck
What
me.
I'm after.
So because you're compromised,
can't do anything.
No, you get the opportunity. So if you want to reduce your, you can spend one opportunity to reduce your strife by 2.
Exactly, because that's what I was really fishing for.
Okay. So what do we see in fiction here? Is he struggling to try and be polite or what?
Oh yeah, he's struggling to be polite, but he's very good at keeping his jovial.
Yeah.
That's his prime skill.
One thing I will mention as well, because you're in the water stance, you can also perform an additional action that does not require a check. Is there anything you'd want to do here to, anything else in the scene you might want to try and get? You could maybe order another drink of sake for this guy. Hope that he drinks himself into,
I was thinking that. Can I slide between him and Jinzaburo?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You can
I'll
always
just
move.
slide in between there and there.
Okay, so you sit down, and now he's not able to manhandle Jinzaburo anymore. You can feel the tension sitting next to you because you guys are both sitting right at the threshold right now. But you have managed to collect yourself a little bit, Gorobe. Jinzaburo, what are you doing?
Jinzaburo was potentially about to lose it, but now that Gorbe has he feel it is very physical, like because he was kind of deep breathing and staring at his medallion from his father.
Yep.
And but Gorbe's physical kind of interrupts that because he can feel him next to him rather than the that big hand and I think he's going to try to interact with Gorbe, magistrate. Let's see. Now, what would that? So mechanically,
so here's depending on what you're trying
best?
to do. You could assist, which is to give him a benefit.
Yeah, let's do that. That's what I want to do.
If you say took the Earth approach, what you could do is just try and. Oh, let's see here. For your action, you'd still be able, whatever successes you get in the persuade would still count towards the successes here. But what you would be able to do is, with the Earth thing, spend the one, every opportunity you get, you could spend to reduce his strife by 2.
So it's going to it's between that and I'm looking at a passion I have here, provocation.
Yep.
Can always identify a point of sensitivity you can push upon another person, and who knows? So I'm going to say something like, these crab, always late for meetings, not me, and we'll see how maybe he takes it. But this apparently, who are
you trying to agitate? Are you trying to Ukayo or
the crab, and it lets me remove 3 stripes. So it's kind of a. So I'm gonna now he may take it funny and he may take it offensively.
Yeah, let me see here.
The crap.
What?
Yeah. Provocation 115, I believe.
115. Okay, awesome. Thank you. That's precisely what I was looking for here. Let's see. Oh no, 115 is in the skill section.
6. 11. It's always off on 1 for me. So it's 114. You should be right, I think.
Nope, that's in the skill section. That's or the advantage section. Oh no, hold on. Wait. Nope.
Yeah, 114 left column
provocation.
Bottom.
Get a rise out of someone. So you could use a courtesy fire.
Yes, that's what I'm doing.
Here's an upside: is you do get to remove 3 strife on this, and you because you're in fire stance, you count strife as successes.
That's big. And fire, his biggest ring is fire. Like, he doesn't like this kind of mamby-pamby. How is he supposed to prove himself by being frozen at the bar with this giant?
So courtesy, this guy, so it would be a TN of 2 against this guy right now.
Okay, fire ring, courtesy. He has no void to spend, so he's not And that's it. Okay. Courtesy fire coming. Okay.
That's nice. So you've got 3 you can
Pretty
keep.
good.
That is potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes so far, plus an exploding dice.
Yeah. Let's see. That opportunity, probably, I think I want the success more.
If you, with 5 success, if you can roll 1 more success on that, that would be 6 successes. That would gain you 3 momentum. You bump it up to a 5.
Yeah, we better do that. So we'll do that. I'm gonna I'll keep those. So I'm gonna roll that exploding now.
Yeah.
That exploding is a black die. Okay.
Yeah, a ring dice. Come on, big money.
There we go. How about that?
Another 2 successes, and you roll again.
Here we go. Another black die. Okay.
And an opportunity that you were looking for. So, and another success because it's a strife. So you got, holy shit.
Wow.
So you actually gained, let's see here. You need 2 to succeed. Then it's 1, 2, 3 more. So he actually, look at this. Massive push towards convincing him. Turns out just getting pissed off at a crab meeting fire, literally with fire, that's how you're ticket to success here.
And actually, it's really more Jinzaburo's thing. I mean, he's not the cheery guy. He's more the business guy who's trying to prove himself.
Yep. So you're gaining 4 stress on, or 4 strife on that, but you also have 1 opportunity.
Okay, I will put that in now. So that puts me at 12 out of 8.
So, you could reduce on anything. You could reduce your strife by 1 that you gain from this roll. If you want to spend that opportunity on that.
I mean, that would put me at 11 out of 8, just to be clear. But that, I guess everything counts.
But hold on, that puts you at 11 out of 8, and then you reduce it by 3.
Oh, right.
Because you pissed him off. There you go.
Well, that's what we're doing, obviously. Yes. And that keeps me at 8 out of 8.
I love it. So he's been trying to be nice, really, I got to go, I just got, and then it finally dawns on him like, this isn't me. He leans in like, listen, you stupid, stinking piece of shit. I got fucking places to go. You may not
I got a magistrate here. I've got an embassy to be at.
Yeah. And the best thing here is, you haven't pissed him off at all. There's no other stress on him, and you haven't lost your cool yet. You're just riding it like
but I'm barely keeping it together. So it's
that's great.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Okay, then it is Ukayo's turn. I'll do his very quickly here. He's a little taken aback by this. And I think what he will. I think that he says he's got spirit in him. He hits you, Gorobe. Come on. We'll bring. We've got. I'm trying to think. I can't remember what the gambling. I think it's dice. No, it's like a tiles or something like that. Bring the tiles. Bring the tiles. He's trying to convince you guys to join him in the game. So it's the same. Ooh, am I gonna switch out of fire? Fire's worked very well for him thus far. What do you think, Anna? Fire? Fire. Blame the dog.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that is, I can keep 3 of those at, I got 1 exploding, so that's 1, 2, 3. Gorobe, you're not compromised anymore, thank God, so you're back at a 3. So I would need 1, 2, 3. I'd get 1, and then potentially 1 more, so let's do that. 2, 3. I'll roll another skill dice as my exploding dice. Nothing out of that. So I only reduce the momentum by 1. Because Gorobe's vigilance is... he's unflappable and is not interested in taking part in the Rokugani equivalent of Mahjong. He does gain 2 strife and he has 1 opportunity. Oof. Gorobe, I think you're back over 2 strife again. He's going to put that 2 strife back on you. You could unmask if you want to do something that's out of character here, and then immediately reduce your strife down to half of your maximum threshold.
I No, it's not like it.
Oh, I went
So
wrong
you're
direction.
adding 1 to me, is it?
2 to you. It's one thing you can do in the yeah, I only have 1 opportunity. I can add 2 strife because of the fire stance.
So I think he'll talk to the. He's going to address the Ronin
Okay.
and just say, "Come on, lads, get the big man to join in with your drinking. You don't need us."
Okay. So if that's a
So
command.
skullduggery or
Ooh, could be. I mean, it could just be command.
say a Ronin and Orist, but
The Ronin are lower status than you, so whatever their. Let me. Let me justify another purchase here. Because I know their stats for the Ronin at the back, I believe, of the Emerald Empire book. Let's see here. And. No, the. Path of Waves. Is that the one that's got it? Yes! The book on Ronin. So I think they are not the stats that they have. Here we go. Novice Ronin. The reason I want to check is their vigilance is a 2 as well, which means it'll be a 1 for what you were trying to do, because they are less. If you use command, they're not equal, so it wouldn't be modified one way or the other with skullduggery. But you certainly could use that if that's a better option for you.
it's a better option for me.
Sure, yeah. So it's a difficulty 2, and what approach are you thinking of using?
Water, because
You want to get rid of some
I'm
of
being
that strife?
flexible on
Yep.
this.
Fuck, once again, only opportunity, but you could reduce it back down and below your threshold.
That's what I'm after.
Oh, yeah, then the 0. Yeah. Okay, never mind. Nothing's exploding there. All right. So you're back down to a 10. They're sort of like, they don't seem to be paying attention to you whatsoever. Maybe it's because, the whatever commanding presence that you would normally have, you're just sort of like on the verge of sort of losing it with this guy. Jinzaburo.
I think he's. I think that that worked pretty well. He's not going back to what he was doing before.
Yeah.
He's going to make his way out of this bar, and I think that really ties into probably we're smack dab in the delusion of grandeur again, and he's like, I have to go. I'm meeting with Miramoto de Juro at the Dragon Embassy.
Yeah.
I have places to be, magistrate, and he tries to whirl and
Get out of there.
try to get out of there.
All right, so your delusions. Let's see here.
Now this is going to have me suffer 3 stripes, so it's not helpful in this
on
way.
a failure. I think it's only on a failure.
Oh. Okay.
I think it's you suffer 3 strife on a failure, and you gain a void point back though on a failure.
Yeah.
Okay. So what approach are you thinking?
Fire.
Okay. And it's a command.
I think it probably has to be command. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Fire, command, and we're good.
Go.
Not great.
It's 2 successes though. So you'd inflict 1 momentum on there.
That's 1 success, isn't it? What do I got?
No, because remember you're in fire stance, so your strife count as successes as well.
Oh, good call.
Yeah. So that would be 2 successes and an opportunity.
Yes, and with that opportunity, is there anything? I mean,
Here's
I mean,
another.
I think I'm probably trying to pressure him here, so I don't have a problem with giving him the strife. I think I'm like, I think I probably try to brush his hand off to spin around.
Okay.
And I give him 2 strife.
Oh shit! I did the wrong thing. So he should be at 8 right now.
So did I? What was my difficulty? Did I?
You succeeded, so you're also getting 1 momentum on him.
Nice. And I get 1 void point, right?
I think only on a failure, I believe.
Oh, got
If you
it.
fail, let's just double check here, but I think it's if you fail.
Gotcha. You're right. If you suffer an unmasking as a result, regain 1 void. So it's actually an unmasking that gives you the void.
I think it's anytime it's triggered. Hold on.
Okay.
Or, let's see. There we go. After the check, you receive 3 strife. If you're anxiety, no. You gain 3 strife and you gain a void point.
No unmasking necessary?
Nope.
Okay. Because on the character sheet, that's what it says. That's why I was... Okay.
No, like core rulebook, page 24. After the check, the character receives 3 strife. The first time this occurs, each scene, they gain 1 void point.
Okay.
Okay. So you are likewise on the verge of cooking off, but you do get a void point back. It does appear that Ukayo is getting ready to kick off, which might actually give you guys an opportunity to just fight him as opposed to... try and beat him down.
So that puts me at 11 out of 8, just to be clear.
Okay. And I think with the end of that round, guys, we're already over time right now, and I know we push it back a half hour, so why don't we put a pin in this here? And I believe we have one more session of this before my vacation. So, because that's the 22nd, yeah. So 22nd, we will see this resolve.
One way or the other.
Exactly. But for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for part 2 of Lament for Lovers and Liars. I love that we haven't even, as is always the fucking case, we haven't even got to the point where we're introducing what the story's actually about yet.
Right.
But this is
is just a lament for tedious drunks so far.
A lament for liquor and louts. But I think this is for one. For myself, I've learned I set that difficulty way too fucking high. That should have been a 4. Like there was no need for that to be as high as 2 times the amount of players we got here. That would have been satisfactory to make it interesting and get you guys to the point. So we've all learned something here. I think also I hope that it has been helpful at least to see what you're doing and what decisions you're making as you're going through each round in a conflict as well, because that largely models over to every other kind of conflict you do.
Yeah, I like the. I mean, as advertised, I think the system. I like the mechanical strife factor of the emotions, bringing the emotions of samurai. So mechanical, I think, is helpful because it's difficult to role play that, I think, in a meaningful way a lot of times.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're going to cook off in a second and it because the metrics right there, I think is
well, and
helpful.
There's the incentive to do so as well because you that being unable to take any strife dice is a big incentive to be like, let's just either try and be safe and try and ride that wave. It's tough when an opponent is just continually trying to piss you off.
Yeah.
Right, like the guy who just continually, and you guys did come into the scene with a little bit of strife as well, like that. But although the turnabout was pretty amazing as well, when you were like, "Listen, fucker," turning all that strife into your success, it's a cool mechanic. What about you, James? Any comments on this? Is it your first time seeing?
Well, I did. Yeah, I didn't get to use my be faced with my irrepressible flirtation because this guy certainly is not my type. And also just goofing when you don't know the character, because water was the better thing to use here because you could gain back control of yourself.
Yeah.
And I was too brainless. The fact that I forgot that in fact water was my strongest point, and I was using air, even though it was weaker. So it's just like, so use the weaker ring, which is less suitable for the task as well. Well played.
You're clearly one of those players who goes immediately to like hardest mode on every game.
Right.
Come on, hardcore, up to insane.
Well, that's awesome. And you guys are in my like rough. I told this to Sean last time. What I did when I wrote the adventure was, or at least the starting point was, I went to the starter set and went through and kind of like modeled out what each scene they did in that to slowly introduce the setting and the mechanics, and just had it listed as what was literally just happening in it, and then use that as a structure for writing this thing, so that we could do just a skill check first, then we could talk about like how the outcome of that is, and talk about non-skill related stuff. And now we're in our first conflict.
Yeah.
Which is, if you told me we'd spend an hour and a half in a bar with a crab, I would have probably said, yeah, that sounds about my memories of the crab robot deck. Definitely.
Right.
And you've really got, the thing is, with all of these particular skills, you've really got to know them. Because, for example, just reading now, I've even pasted the thing in. If I use my courtesy air check to tease someone, I get 3 strife back.
Nice.
I could have been doing that all along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
But
you
it's
live and
good.
learn.
You know, this is where I think this is where the getting the sense of the game as we go along. It'll allow you to now is just learning how the mechanics work, and then you will start to be able to strategize. And you guys are already doing that too. Like once you realized how effective that fire strategy was.
Yeah.
Fire stance is badass, especially in a fight. Fire stance is fucking cool because being able to get those extra successes from it.
And he's just more fiery. That's his main ring. So.
Yep. Awesome. All right.
Cool.
So then, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us. So we'll be back again in the streets of. I keep wanting to say Ryoko Owari. I love the City of Lies. In the streets of Otis Anuchi, and in the everyone's favorite. Ronin favored pub, the Tilted Crane, to see how this resolves. In 2 weeks' time, until then, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please do not hesitate to leave a comment down below, and I will endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. In addition, there's a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server where all of us are active. We have channels there dedicated to this game, this campaign, and every other game we have on the channel. Actually, I don't think we have a 5 Rings one yet. I may be fibbing there. In addition, there's a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages. That is the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel that benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, a really great organization active in over 130 countries that benefits over 80,000 children, including ongoing relief efforts in Ukraine and the surrounding regions at the time of recording. In addition, there is, I guess, first off, for every $25 Canadian that you donate through that link, we, as a small way of saying thank you, will give you one chance to win the grand prize or one of the other great prizes in our next charity raffle. All money that is donated through that link goes directly to SOS Children's Villages International. None of it comes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to benefit the kids who benefit from those services. And our way of saying thank you, the charity raffle... will be, let's see here, the second week of June 2022, so less than a month off, and grand prize is a platinum edition of Beetle and Grimm's, what is it? Beetle and Grimm's Platinum Edition Wild Beyond the Witchlight box set, an amazing $500 US product that they have generously donated for us to include as our grand prize. Second prize is a copy of the... Gold Edition, Beetle and Grimm's Gold Edition Absalom City of Lost Omens, really the very best box set I've ever seen, including in comparison to the outstanding and legendary Ryoko Owari City of Lies box set. I did an unboxing of the Absalom City of Lost Omens box set on the channel. You can find that elsewhere and see all the amazing stuff in there, but it is really an incredible product. Great. I bought a copy. I didn't open the copy that people will win. But that's our second prize. Third prize and other prizes include a chainmail dice bag made by our resident armor smith, donated copies of the Player's Handbook, DMG, and Monstrous Manual that will be going to one lucky home for AD&D 2nd Edition. There is a full set of the newest Iron Kingdoms 5th Edition books. There's a copy of the core rulebook for Jackals, our friend J.M. DeFogie's awesome Bronze Age our fantasy RPG. There are also a bunch of other prizes from our Dungeon Musing Red Bubble Shop, including some t-shirts and posters and some other things, including... I believe I'm feeling a little creative in my Rokugani things. I think the next task will be some headshots of our resident heroes here. So we have some consistent art. It's also a lot easier to do all the art for all the characters when we only have 2 players. So that is, for a completionist such as I, that is an easier way to approach that task. Speaking of our stalwart heroes, a huge thank you to Sean and James for joining me back in Rokugan again today. James twice today, first to introduce us to Doji Gorobe. So it's been 6 hours or 5 hours that we played. Oh, and you guys also each get 3 XP for today. So add that to your current XP under the advancement tab. And so thank you guys. Yeah, this was a shit ton of fun. I know I'm looking up stuff quite a bit here too, but I really feel like this is we're slowly learning all the ins and outs of this thing, and it's going to really fucking sing once we get that under our belt. But until next time, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us back in the Emerald Empire, and we will be back in 2 weeks. Until then, We hope that we've given you a few hours to take your mind off of the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our heroes are finding in getting acclimatized to or getting getting their new partner extracted from a bar. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.